Hi everybody, it's Suzanne in Ohio. I'm back today with my finished sample of my tinted embroidery. I finished this little cutie off in kind of a farmhouse style and a little quilt binding effect around the edges. And I just wanted you to see how pretty and alive it became after it was bordered off. So if you haven't seen it undone, you can go back and see my former video about it, what this pattern looks like without anything done on it. Now this is a small version. I have a larger version also. And all my tinted embroidery patterns will be up on my Etsy site. And I'm going to show you today what all comes in that little kit for your embroidery pattern. But for now, I wanted you to see this item finished. And if you haven't been following me along, this is tinted embroidery and it's done with crayons. And crayon can give you a beautiful, beautiful effect with your embroidery. Now, I like a lot of colors, so my embroidery is colored in with quite a bit of saturation, but you can look online at all kinds of samples out there, and a lot of it's done very pastel with very little color. But I like my things with a lot of color on it, so this is what I ended up with. Now, the disclaimer here is I felt like I almost ruined this piece. I couldn't decide what color to make the foreground, you know, to anchor everything in, and I tried some different colors and to try to get a warm beige color, and I didn't like it at all. So what I think I might do the next time is color the foreground with maybe my ink tints, but it doesn't have to be. If I just simply chose one single color of crayon, I think it would have ended up better, but I was trying to get some shadows and things around the items. And I'm not sure if I even care for that. But here's a little close-up of the image. I just absolutely love that pincushion and that spool of thread. And of course, I love coffee pots and old enamelware. So I colored this coffee pot kind of modeled to replicate old enamelware, how spotty it is, and things like that. All right, that's my finished sample of the larger one. And then here's the other samples. Here's the rabbit and mushroom and snail. And then the two teapots. Whoops, I got one upside down. There's my two teapots. And I just love how they look. Now, these obviously can stand alone, and you can border them off and make a hanging piece or mount them on the journal cover or whatever you want to do with them. You could even kind of make them a greeting card. But what I'm going to do with these two is cut them out as an applique and put them on some kind of a foundation backing and make them their own item. I don't know what I'll put in there with them, but we'll see. That's fun of creativity. You don't really know sometimes until you start cutting. But all these are on my Etsy site as of tonight and will be a pattern kit. And I want to show you what all comes in that. Now, first of all, it is not a digital kit. It is not a digital image pattern because I've got a little situation with my Etsy site. So what I'm offering right now is a ready-to-stitch pattern already drawn on the muslin. And for a lot of people, that will solve a lot of problems because maybe they don't have a light table and maybe they just don't feel like they want to do all that tracing. So I've done the tracing for you. I put it on a high-quality piece of white muslin that has been, it's been washed is ready to stitch. And it will come with a piece of very, very thin Pellon. And I would encourage you to include that in all your stitches, meaning stitch all the way through both of those, because a stabilizer on the background will make your stitches look on the front so much better. And what you will also get is you will get a paper copy of the pattern. And that way, you've already got the paper copy because I can't give you a digital download right now. And then you can use this paper pattern as many times as you want. So that's how that's going. And also with that, what you'll get is you'll get a colored picture of my work. That way, if you want to follow kind of my coloring, you know, you want some help with choosing your colors and crayons, you'll have that to look at. So, the white muslin, the backing, the paper pattern that you can retrace again and again, and a copy of a printed copy of my original, which will help you. Okay, so I hope you can look on my Etsy site and see what pattern you want to start with. Get one of these and start embroidering. Well, start coloring first. And if you don't understand how that works, go back and see my first video a week or so ago about all these patterns and how to do tinted embroidery. It is just so fun. I can't wait to draw up a new pattern and start with something else. It's almost addictive, I will tell you that. And also, I have a helpful hint today. Hold on one second. I'm going to get it. Coming. Okay, when you're using your crayons on fabric, and I have a brand new set that are pointed, and I have an old set that are all worn down. And I discovered something. It's been a long time since I had little children, and I forgot what a mess you get when you're trying to sharpen crayons. So I did that, and with the static electricity, I had crayon shavings everywhere. But I started using a piece of sandpaper, and I started sharpening my crayons on the sandpaper. Now you might think, well, what a waste of crayon. Well, they're not that expensive, number one. Number two, even when you sharpen them, you're going to waste all that product. You're shaving it off into little pieces into the wastebasket. So just use your sandpaper to give yourself a new point, and away you go. And I'll be back again real soon, like within the week, with a brand new pattern, and I'm going to color it all in under the camera so the people that want to see it as it develops will be able to watch that. Here's the paper pattern for the larger one with the coffee pot and the pincushion in it. I just wanted to show you that. So you get a full copy of that if you order the big one, and everything you need to start stitching except your floss. Now, I can't determine what everybody wants to do with their stitching, so there's no need in me sending floss. Everybody's got floss. And if you don't happen to, go to your closest Goodwill or thrift store. There's always baskets full of floss thread there. All right. And feel free to change the colors. You're not following my color theme if you don't want to. I could have made this bowl brown, I could have made yellow apples, and I could have made a green teapot or coffee pot. Whatever you want to do with it. And then here's a couple places where you can get real creative. Let me show you the original one again, because the more I stitch, the more I realize, boy, I have a lot of leeway here. The apples, of course, could have been any color I wanted them to be. The bowl, the ribbon. Next time I will do a ribbon with a lot more color in it that goes around the bowl. And this piece of embroidery in the hoop over here, I colored it as if it was being stitched on muslin. I could do that differently. I could have left that white, and the white would have really accented in this piece, but I didn't. I chose to make my spool of thread red, but you could make it any color you want. And a few hints about that spool of thread. I colored red underneath, and of course the crayon underneath is lighter, and I put some back and forth long and short stitches of red thread on there, and I left that little tail of thread sticking out as if the spool was coming unwound. And then to match that, I embroidered this thread in the needle in the same color as if they were using this thread in the needle. But you could have changed this spool of thread to anything you want. And when you leave space for the underneath color to come through, it acts like a highlight. Now this little chicken, I colored it very lightly as if it has pink flowers, pink and lavender flowers on it, but you could do anything you want with that. You could have done tiny little sunflowers and whatever. Anything, polka dots, stripes, triangles. Get a piece of fabric and try to mimic it right there on your little pincushion. And then I embroidered a button. There's an image of the button, and I put it on there and I stitched around it. But as I thought about it, I should have completely left that off and then mounted a real button on top of it. A fairly flat, thin one. That would have been cute. And if you want to get real creative, you could cut out his wing out of a piece of felt and then put the button on. And you could even add some felt where his comb and wattle are, right there. So many things you can do. You could color in your coffee pot. You could put stripes on it. You could put polka dots. You could make stripes going this way. You could color it in black and white as if it was a black and white enameled coffee pot. Just anything. So you can have a lot of fun with it. Look up some pictures of like antique kitchen items on Google, and I will tell you a nice place to find ideas is to go to Etsy and put in clip art vintage kitchen or vintage kitchen clip art. And those artists that have their work on there, just look at them for ideas, for the coloring, for the shading, and different things like that. All right. And when you get done with your piece, if you want to leave it raw edge or turn it inside out or bound it off with a quilt binding, anything you want to do is a go. And this one I finished off. I have my quilt binding going around here and these two little triangle corners which hold your wooden stick. And that's your hanging device. So if you mount something like this, all it takes is one tiny little nail or thumbtack, and then this little skewer, which is I think it was a bamboo skewer. But anyways, I use bamboo skewers a lot, and it just hooks over that nail, and you don't have to put a lot on your wall. So there's my cute little project. Go to my Etsy site after this evening and look for one of these kits. They'll be priced as inexpensive as I can and still get them mailed and, pay a little bit from my time. All right, so if you have some floss, great. If not, don't forget the thrift store. And I will see you soon with another tinted embroidery project, probably something a little larger and a little bit more nature. I'm thinking of a dragonfly. So check back and see what I've got going. And I hope you're creating and have a wonderful day. Thanks for watching. Bye.